What's going on, guys? It's Mike for Sim Racing 604, and as you can see, I have something new and exciting here. These are my Heusinkveld Sim Pedals Sprint. So I actually asked you guys on Twitter whether or not I should go for the Sim Pedals Sprint or should I opt for the Ultimates from Heusinkveld. And the sort of prevailing wisdom was that the sprints would be better for somebody like me. These are more aimed at sim racers, whereas the pros are aimed, unsurprisingly, at professionals who are used to very specific things from driving race cars. Having no such experience, these sprints were what I went with. So obviously 3-pedal set, as you're seeing here, and there's also the base plate that I ordered along with it. So I got these through simulation1.ca, and I was very happy with the service overall. There was a surcharge to use PayPal, which I wasn't happy with, but other than that, the service was great. They had good stock levels, and I had these 4 days after I ordered them, which is pretty good. So happy to have them. So a lot of exciting things here contained within these sprints. I'm really loving them so far. And if you're wondering why I'm not doing an unboxing video, I actually did do an unboxing video. Unfortunately, the footage didn't turn out. The color was all wonky. So yeah, I just had to basically scrap the footage. I might upload it. You can check the description if you really want to see an unboxing, but there wasn't much to the unboxing. The pedals came more or less as you see them here, and then the base plate, I've just got this temporarily sat on there. Normally this is screwed down, obviously, but the base plate just came in 4 pieces. The steel plate on the back that holds the actual pedals, the 2 U channels, and then the nice finishing footrest plate. Mixture of steel and stainless steel, and very solid feeling. I did some customizations, and I'll get into this more in a little bit. But basically, if you're looking at these online, you might see that the Heusinkveld logo is actually at the bottom. But what you can actually do with these is just there's a screw that sits in the center of the pedal. If you back that screw off, there's 2 tabs here, and you can invert it, and that's what I've done. So normally when it comes from the factory, it's flipped. The Heusinkveld logo is at the bottom, and what that does is it sits the pedal about 1 inch higher. Now I was finding that the ball of my foot was too low on the pedal face, so I flipped these. Heusinkveld logo is now on the top, and the pedal overall, and this is the case for each of the 3 pedals, they sit somewhere around 1 inch lower than how they came from the factory. And continuing on with the customizations, this bolt and nut system right here on the accelerator pedal, you can actually back this off very simply and then slide it up this little channel right here. And what that does is increase or decrease the resistance. So it's pretty awesome, actually. It takes only a few seconds, and it really changes the resistance pretty dramatically. So just to test it out, I backed it off and slid it all the way to the top, and this was a really stiff accelerator pedal. I like my accelerator pedal pretty loose. As long as it returns fast, I'm okay with that, and the Heusinkveld Sim Pedals Sprint definitely do. So I've got it sitting at a pretty loose setting. There are also adjustable or varying brake pressures you can use. There's also a brake preload that's adjustable, and ultimately the brake pressure and the overall stiffness of the brake comes down to this rubber stopper right here. And thankfully Heusinkveld thought of everything, so it's very easy to adjust. 1 nut, and then you can just simply, I'm not doing a good job of this, normally it's faster, but you can just pop that off and then replace this rubber stopper with a different pressure. So pretty easy, it's pretty good, especially if you're like me and your pedals are kind of hard to get at. Well, it's very easy to make those adjustments. You know, it's just back off 1 nut and pop it out, and you can try different stiffnesses. So that's very cool. The clutch pedal, I left it stock so far, except for the pedal face, as I mentioned earlier. You'll kind of see here, this is hard to do with my hands, but you kind of see it's a 2-stage clutch travel. You can kind of see this back piece coming up, and what that's meant to do is simulate basically the plate and flywheel feeling, and so there's smooth, and then it gets really easy towards the end. So anyway, it's not a linear travel like the accelerator. Again, it's designed to emulate an actual clutch feel, which is really cool. So getting right down to my review, guys, obviously this is going to be a faster one because I don't have unboxing footage. So the things I like, first and foremost, really like the looks of these things. And I get it, it's pretty mechanical compared to a lot of the other pedal sets on the market, but I really love it. I gotta tell you, my favorite piece of automotive design ever is the shifter, the shift lever in a Pagani Huayra. And those who know it will know what I'm talking about right away. It's got a nice finish up top, and then down below you can see an exposed knuckle and just the mechanics of what you're actually shifting. And usually it's covered in kind of a leather covering of some sort, so you don't see that. But Pagani went right at it and said, here's the linkage, here's what it looks like. And that's basically what you get with these Heusinkvelds. So a nice finish up front, obviously, the nice foot plate here, footrest plate, and then the nice pedal faces, but flip it around or even look at it at an angle and you can see all the nice mechanics back here, but it's all so well machined and all high quality, and I really like the looks of it. That's the first thing that attracted me to it. And also another great feature is the customization that I talked about earlier. There's just so many things you can customize, and you know, it's really awesome to have those mechanical changes done so easily, so you can get the pedals to your liking right away. And you'll notice that the spacing is not even between them. I can get 3 and a bit fingers in between my clutch and my brake, whereas I can't between the brake and the accelerator. Reason being is I snug these a little bit closer for heel-toe shifting purposes. That is achieved because the plate that the pedals sit on actually has channels that you can slide the pedals left and right in, and also the pedals themselves, hopefully you guys can see that, have channels to move it forward and back. So right now, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but the accelerator sits a little bit behind the brake. I might play with that in the future at some point, but yeah, that's how I've got it set up right now. So just huge amounts of customization, and you can not only adjust the stiffness of the brake, but also the preload. I think I might have mentioned that earlier. And then the stiffness of the other pedals as well. So just huge amounts of customization that can be achieved with the Sim Pedals Sprint. Smoothness is another big one for me. Very hard to sort of show this in a video, but the travel on these pedals is perfect. It's really perfect. It's not jerky, it's not grinding, it's not squeaking, it's just perfectly smooth and really, really nice travel of these pedals, and that's a big thing. Also the robust design. I feel these pedals are gonna last me a long time. It doesn't feel brittle, shaky, poorly designed. It doesn't feel like they cut corners anywhere. It just feels like you have a real piece of machinery that's really nicely designed and nicely built using high quality materials. So I like the robust feeling of these pedals as well. And also there's the SmartControl software, and I'm going to do a calibration because I've made some adjustments to the brake. So I'm going to do a calibration and I'll show you guys that. But the SmartControl software, it's a free download once you buy your pedals. Actually, it's a free download for anyone if you want to just try it out, but don't even need to install it. It's just an executable, and takes all of about 90 seconds to calibrate your pedals, and just gives really, really great results right away. It's a very intelligent way to calibrate pedals. I think a lot of other companies could learn a lot from that. And also within that software, you can also set up custom profiles. So if you have a perfectly linear travel to your pedals, you know, whoops, not very smart. So 100% accelerator travel, obviously 100% throttle, and let's say that's 50%, that's 50% throttle. But you can actually set a curve where you know, the first part isn't worth that much, and then gradually it just becomes more and more, and so the last little bit is worth a fair bit. So you have sort of a logarithmic curve. You can set that all in the software. So the SmartControl software, again, very nicely done. And finally, and this is a funny one, but I thought to mention it in the things I really like, it's the product manual. And if you're like me, normally these things get tossed in the recycling right from the start. Like, who reads manuals anymore? But these Heusinkveld manuals are so well done. It's a high quality paper, and the font is really nice, and it has really detailed instructions on how to adjust everything. And I actually sat down and cracked open a manual for the first time in a very long time. And you might be thinking, well, who cares? It's just a manual. But I think it's kind of a microcosm of how Heusinkveld does or how much they care, their attention to detail. And I think there's a saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And so it just goes to show, if they put that much attention into the manual, how much attention also went into the design of these pedals. So that's very impressive. Getting into what I don't like, and I should mention, guys, these, I bought these, I didn't get sent them, so this is an honest review. And I say that because I don't have a lot of negative to say about these, and I wish I had more. I haven't really found too much in the way of fault. One small thing, when I got the pedals, or the base plate rather, it just comes with a big bag of bolts, and you have to kind of sift through to find the right bolts to mount your pedals. Such a minor thing, honestly, but it would be great moving forward if they separated the nuts and bolts into more bags rather than one bag that contains everything, because there was probably, I don't know, 100 different, nuts, bolts, washers, and a lot of it that's not even used. So if they could break that up, it'd be great. Second thing is the U-channel that these pedals actually, the base plate rather, mounts onto. These are not very intelligently designed, and it makes me think I'm doing something wrong. So apologies to Heusinkveld if you happen to see this and you're shaking your monitor saying this guy's an idiot. That's probably true. But as you can see, it has 3 holes along the bottom of the U-channel, and that's obviously for mounting this onto whatever you want. But in my case, the pedal plate on my Next Level Racing GT track. Great, so mounting holes. The problem is getting at them is really cumbersome. So you can see there's a little cutaway. There's a few cutaways, but they don't line up with the holes. And not just that, they're not very deep. So you have to kind of try and come in at an angle. And if you think, well, just get a Allen key, because it does come with Allen keys. These pedals come with Allen keys. And it's like, well, I would, but the channel's actually not deep enough to get those Allen keys in there to turn a bolt. So I guess the answer is you come from the bottom and just use one of the wrenches that's also included to turn a nut in that U-channel. But anyway, it just doesn't seem very intelligent. It'd be nice if you could get a nut or a bolt down through these U-channels. The possible solution, make holes right on top so you can get a driver in there and an Allen key to turn those, or just make the U-channel a little bit wider. Either one. And then the third thing, not at all a critique, but just something that Heusinkveld could look into in the future. One of the things I really like about my Fanatec V3 inverted pedals is that they are inverted. So the clutch and the brake come from above. It'd be great if Heusinkveld could offer some sort of frame that either bolts onto the base plate that they sell, or possibly a whole new unit that is just a simple steel frame that allows you to, take these off the base plate and mount them to some sort of rack up here so that you have inverted pedals and it's more like a real life car. Something to look at in the future. Again, not really a critique, just something that I think would be cool for Heusinkveld to undertake. So with that said, my verdict, awesome. I'm about 10 hours into these pedals and my mind is just completely blown away. The design is so good, the feel is so incredible. I didn't think it would be that much of a step up from my Fanatec V3 inverteds, but honestly, it's huge. It's way bigger than I thought. They're just so incredibly smooth, so robust feeling. You can really stomp on them and not worry about it. And obviously, as you guys know, I love the design of these. I love the looks of them, so I'm extremely happy. And yeah, just incredible. I would offer more critique if I could, but overall I'm just so happy. So what I'm gonna do is show you guys the calibration, and then we will get these out and start sim racing with them. Let's get to it. So here we are in the Heusinkveld SmartControl software. As you can see, when I press the pedals, I get response. That's great. And just a quick note here, you can set different profiles. Right now, as you can see, the X-axis matches the Y-axis, meaning the further I depress the pedal, this accelerator pedal, the more braking I get. You can set different curves though. So if I go sense -2, this is an easy one to understand. So you can see it's kind of a logarithmic curve. So what you actually get, across the bottom is how far I'm pressing the pedal. So right now it's at 20%, and that is only worth 5% braking. Continuing on at 40%, or sorry, that was 20, I can't remember what I said. At 40% pedal travel, I'm getting 15% braking. Let's see if I can get it right on 60 there. Yeah, 60% travel is worth 30% braking, but then you can see it starts to go up really sharply. So if I go up to 80%, can I get that? Close enough. 80% travel, it's worth 60% braking. So in 20% more travel, we've increased the braking by 30%, and you can guess what happens from here. So when I go from pressing the pedal to 80% to pressing the pedal to 100%, it goes up quite sharply from 60% all the way to 100%. So different curves are available depending on how you like your pedals to act. And we'll go now through a calibration. So start calibration. So resting, all pedals, all good. Next step, press throttle all the way down. You can see it doesn't feel like I'm moving my foot, but you can see the precision there. That number is moving just slightly. Release. So it's all good. Press the brake pedal with the desired maximum force. Somewhere around there, I would say, is about as hard as I would ever want to press that brake pedal. Release. Clutch all the way in. Release. And that should be it. So I'm going to save my calibration and go to the profile. And it seems all good here. And there's a manual adjustment, by the way. If I decide that once I'm back in this screen that I'm never going to be able to press it that hard, I can actually dial it down here manually, and then I have to press it less hard to get 100%. That's a bit too light for me. I'm going to go with 42 for now. That seems pretty good, and maybe a little bit more. I can always adjust that later. And the clutch travel seems perfect as well. And as you can see, you can set your dead zones as well. So very intuitive software. I like it. Well done to Heusinkveld again, and let's go ahead and test these out in game. Okay guys, so here we are at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park on board the Formula 79 by Race Sim Studio. And pedal impression so far, unbelievably good. I had about a 30-minute session right at the start where I actually didn't connect with them, and then I went into the tuning software, spent about 90 seconds calibrating, and they've been unbelievable ever since. Really just outstanding in every fashion. I would love to offer you some negatives about this set of pedals, but I can't find anything. I absolutely love them. I didn't think it was going to be much different than my Fanatic V3 inverteds, but honestly it's night and day. Just feels so much more smooth, so much more robust. Had a 30-minute session in Assetto Corsa Competizione when I was first breaking these in. And ran 30 minutes without any incidents, which is rare for me. Could be a coincidence, but it just felt a lot smoother. I was able to apply the throttle so much smoother coming out of the corners. Just fantastic, really, really fantastic. I, again, would love to offer you some negatives about this set of pedals, but there's really none. Calibration, calibration tool is just a simple executable file. You don't even have to install anything. Just automatically saves it to the pedals. As I say, I was about 90 seconds And if it took you a full 2 minutes, you'd be doing something wrong. Super simple, super easy. Wow, just wow. If you're in the market for a new set of pedals, this gets a huge thumbs up, and I'm not hating at all on the Fanatec's. I had the V3 inverted for years, loved it, but this just feels like a different animal altogether. I haven't changed anything from stock. I will be though. Oh, sorry, I did. I flipped the pedals upside down, the pedal faces that is, which lowers them, I would guess, about 3/4 of an inch. And I'll probably look to lighten the accelerator just a little bit. Just feels a tiny bit heavy. Not much though. It's pretty well set up out of the factory. Clutch feels natural. Accelerator feels smooth. Brake feels heavy, stiff, but not unnaturally so. Kind of how you'd expect any brake pedal to feel. Well, that's good enough, guys. Again, I'm several hours in and just so impressed with these Heusinkveld Sim Pedals Sprint. Just got nothing bad to say whatsoever. If there were any things to critique, anything sticking out in my mind, I would let you guys know, but there's nothing. I'm just so happy with these. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go back to doing more laps because I'm just having the best time with these pedals, and thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.